Hi,
Hello,
I'm Ethan,
and I'm Emily.
and welcome to our podcast, What the Flock, about our lovely little yarn shop here in Christchurch, New Zealand. So we do not actually have our usual glut of new and exciting things to talk to you about today because apparently it's all coming next week. Which is going to make next week frantic. Brace yourself for a longer episode, but this is going to be this is going to be a quick check-in about what's going on across the road, obviously, our projects, and it's getting worse. Not noisier, but like riskier and more dangerous by the day.
Do you know, and this is going to sound patronizing, but there was a little man sitting on something all day yesterday with, I swear to God, a piece of sandpaper sanding the whole concrete frontage. Just all day.
Surely there's a sander for that. That's not just your hands.
Yeah.
I think we now understand why construction is taking so long and costing so much.
And like, why does it need to be? I don't know.
You should
Very
go over and
strange.
offer to manage that situation because they are clearly not capable.
And they've taken more of the parking today as well.
Great. You know what? At least they're no longer driving the scissor lifts balanced on two I-beams, and I can live with that. Now it's just up there, and I hope there's a floor. That's all I have to say. There's your construction updates. Hello. Is this a knitting podcast? Some days.
Yeah.
Now, if you enjoyed that introduction, and why wouldn't you, please go ahead. And actually, even if you didn't, please go ahead. If you're already here, you might as well subscribe. Just live. This is your fate now. Your fate is to listen to us talk about construction on Saturdays. So, we are here to talk about our projects, and please subscribe. And please go ahead and click the notification bell, because why would you want to miss this? So, with all of that out of the way, hey Emily, what you working on?
Well, I am working on my Danish Confection, which is the Novice Cardigan by Petiteknit. So I have just got to sleeve separation. Or what do you call it if you're going top down? Still
Sleeve
sleeves?
separation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
You got two sleeves?
yeah.
That's
So I've done that.
really quick.
It doesn't fit, because each round has been getting bigger.
But now it got smaller in a happy
Yes.
way, right?
Yeah. So hopefully it'll start going quicker again.
I believe.
Yeah, so that's that one. And I've also been working, and so this is in the Alpaca 2 and silk mohair from Isager.
Can we,
which is coming
can we
up
do a
very
face covering and holding it up to... Now, last week, you successfully held yarn up and I did not successfully cover my face. So I'm going to try harder this week. I hopefully brought something to cover my face with. I'm not kidding.
So this is hopefully the colour, which is this really pretty greeny yellow chartreuse, if you will.
Yeah, it's...
And the silk is giving
Banging.
it like a real like
You can see
golden glow
the-
kind
Yeah.
of thing. It's really pretty.
The mohair glow is so expansive on this one.
Yeah. So I'm really liking that.
Now, can I ask, now that you're, because to me, farther on from those initial increases, they don't look as noticeable. Are you finding the same
Yeah.
thing?
Yes. And one of our customers has made this, and you can't see it when she's wearing it.
Mary.
But hers is darker.
Yeah. And she went full double mohair, which
Yes.
would
which
be
is beautiful.
It is beautiful, but it will be hot.
Well, yeah.
As someone who's actually comfortable for once.
So yeah, that's what's going on with this, and I guess I'll see when it's finished and blocked how I feel about the thingies. And then my other one is the tessellated, which I'm still cranking away on. I decided to make some modifications because
Good.
I was not enjoying
Yes.
the exposed shoulders, so I unexposed the shoulders.
I'm proud. I think you made a good choice.
And to do, I just literally just mattress stitched it,
Over top of it.
and so now the exposed seam's on the inside, and everyone's happier.
You know what? Mattress stitch solves a lot of problems.
It actually does. I don't
I
think
know.
I've talked about it on here, but my Alpine Bloom was like riding up my neck, and I mattress stitched from like here to here and brought it down. Problem solved.
Oh.
Anywho, so this is my cardigan. So I'm almost
super cute.
finished the first sleeve. I am a little confused on the length. So she says to stop at 37 centimeters. Or 6.5 centimeters less than your finished length, because it's going to grow by 2.5 centimeters, and then the ribbing is 5 centimeters. And all of these numbers do not add up to
Okay.
a sensible number, in my opinion. Because I'm at like 32, and 5 more centimeters will be too much.
You know what, Emily? I have a great suggestion. I actually think we can solve this problem. And do you know why we can solve this problem? Because you knit a tessellated vest.
Yes.
We can, in fact, compare the finished block gauge of your tessellated vest, even though it's knit in sport, to the unblocked gauge of this and work out exactly how much your thing is going to grow.
Yeah.
And then we can use that to solve for X and figure out when you should stop.
Because also,
Because
I don't know.
Andrea apparently didn't do that math properly.
It doesn't really add up, and it's like, and if you want more, it says something like if you want a bigger rib or a smaller rib, but then it says the same numbers. So she's obviously, there's a bit of a typo there because the numbers should be different if you want to do something different.
I would assume so.
But also, I don't know if it's worth talking about. I really struggle to know when I should stop.
Yes, I think this is 100% worth talking
Should
about.
I put it on? And
Yes.
demonstrate? Because obviously,
Totally.
by the time you add the ribbing, it pulls and things.
It does.
Things
So,
happen, and it's hard to see what you're doing.
I'm going to tell you what my suggestion is, which is going to sound like a nightmare, because you know how you have 3 balls of wool attached right now?
Add 3 more.
Add 3 more.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. Everyone loves my solutions. Ooh, so that is a conundrum. So Emily is experiencing what I would say is a common thing, both with top-down knitting and bottom-up knitting, which is how, and I'm just gonna curse, how fucking long do I make these sleeves, right? Luckily, I just went through how fucking long do I make these sleeves? So I feel your pain. Now, I can tell you something about my body that may help you in this instance. For myself, I have quite ape-like arms. They're very, very long. So I, in a drop shoulder, need 22 inches of sleeve, no matter how far the drop shoulder is, which is really, really useful. And that sleeve length includes the rib. So I need 20-ish inches of sleeve texture and then 2 inches of rib, voila. In this particular instance, you will not be able to know because of how a cardigan sits. And I think what causes this confusion more so in cardigans than in pullovers is I think that you do need the second sleeve picked up and work to a certain, and the ribbing. So my hot tip, and I'm actually gonna borrow from our good friend Mary, my hot tip for perfecting your sleeve length because you can work this out this time and then use it on all your future ones. Because my opinion is that once we're talking about sleeves and sleeve lengths and drop shoulders, we actually should ignore the pattern completely because it's not going to be right. Guaranteed in a drop shoulder, that sleeve isn't going to fit the person intended because calculating a bicep circumference off of a bust doesn't make any sense. Logically, it doesn't. Biceps have the highest amount of variance in bust size of anything. I measured 100 people in a year. I don't know if you all remember this, but I did. And that's what I discovered. So I know, because I know a little bit more than the average, that if we compare your blocked and unblocked gauge, and we want it to end here, right? Longer is better than shorter, but perfect is best. So I would say that you're going to need, from this visual, probably an additional 4 to 6 centimeters before we start the rib if it relaxes the same way that it relaxed on your other one. And that is obviously not what the pattern says because it would tell you that it's already too long, which is crazy because it's clearly not long enough.
Yeah.
So I think that this was a great opportunity to show that sort of variance playing out.
And it's hard when you look at it because like if you look at the top of your arm, this looks smaller than this.
Yes.
And so I get worried that it's going to pull it
downward
down and then be weird.
And especially because the cuff sometimes does not actually add the sort of length that we want because it pulls those stitches in. And this is a wider fitting, well, it's Andrew, so it's as wide fitting of a sleeve as she does. Remember that time she fixed her sleeves?
I guess the other thing I can do is compare it with my
pressed flowers.
Yeah.
Which I do think overall, my hot take.
If this is in the same place.
Exactly.
Because I had this problem with my crochet sweater, which also had drop sleeves, is that I compared that to something else I already had, but the drop shoulder was way lower, so then my arm was like out here.
And I mean, this is not something we want to be frogging.
No. Or knitting more than we have to. Let's be honest.
You really do have a special ability to find these projects.
I mean, this sleeve has taken a whole week of diligent knitting.
Hold me closer, Tony dance. No, but seriously.
And I'm really excited to work this out to mirror on the other side.
So I think you have a really unique opportunity to show customers and our viewers how to problem solve this, which is, I'm so glad you brought it up. So everybody, guess what we're going to be talking about every week until we find the correct length? Emily sleeves.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so glad. We now have a perennial segment. Maybe we should do this with every project.
It's cold. Where's my other thing? I need it back on.
I'm sorry. I might need that in writing.
And the heat comes on.
Cool. I'm not cold, but I am in a very fluffy Mohair sweater. So I finished my first Danish confection. This is a modified London by Helga Isager. I only modified the sleeves. Everything else was knit exactly to pattern, including the yarn choice, and it's not blocked, so it's going to look even better once it's blocked.
This is cool how the ribbon goes into the shoulders.
Yeah. Okay, so I have just knit the same pullover twice, and I'm proud of it. And I'm going to do it like 8 more times.
It's not the same. It's not brioche.
I mean, it's the same pullover, and I'm okay with that. Like, emotionally, I'm fine with it. I love how it looks. I'm so happy and comfortable in these pullovers. I'm really glad that the Isagers have embraced my love of high necklines. Bless you, Helga, bless you. I will say, this has some very interesting way that you have to sew the collar down with no instructions because there's nowhere to sew it down to at the shoulders because it's just rib that you pick up out of. Like, you're supposed to make live stitches that you then turn the other direction, and I was just not prepared for that. So because this is made up of live stitches, there's nowhere to sew this. So this portion of the collar from here to here, from this shoulder to this shoulder, is just floating free, and then you sew down this curve and this curve, and you know what? It's comfortable as. I did make a modification, so I went a little wild on the sleeve. I thought I would try something, and I just left it completely wide. And I think once it's blocked out, it's gonna look really elegant and dramatic. And it's just made the whole thing really casual and cozy without, I think, making it look like homely. Either that or I look like a sloppy mess, and I don't care because I'm warm.
You don't. I just got a funny visual in my head, but I'm gonna keep it to myself.
So this one was knit in Isager Jensen in colorway number 10 compared with Mohair, silk mohair in number 11. Well, that's a color combination I'm going to come back to time and time again because this is my ideal color palette.
Yes. Well, there's also that one that came and went very quickly.
66.
Yeah. I think we've got more on the way, don't we?
So much more.
It's really pretty.
2 bags because I was like, no one can be trusted with this in the shop.
Yeah.
I also have to make, a confession is the wrong word, but an admission. I ordered quite a bit of one color of Mohair, number 56, and quite a bit of Tvinni to go along with it. It was not selling particularly fast, so I wasn't really worried. So I took a couple of balls home with, because I needed multiple balls for the project that I'm making, to swatch with. And then I came back the next day to get the rest of it, and she was gone. So I have knit as far as I can on my green pullover that started its life as the September sweater and is going to finish its life as my own design. But there is the first of the 2 sleeves, and I'm well underway with it. I worked out the sleeve math, I've got the increases going. I'm really, really happy. I still love this fabric. So this is 2 strands of silk mohair and 1 strand of Tvinni, all in number 56. Sorry, pardon me, the Tvinni is 56S. One day, I will have all of these colors memorized, and then they will change them. I can feel it.
I can't remember what mine were.
22, and I think 22. No, 22 and...
I want to say 40.
I want to say 40 as well.
Do I have labels?
22 on silk mohair, 40 on something else. So I am madly in love. I'm super, super happy. So this is my 1 color brioche project. I think I'm making great inroads on it.
It is 22 and 40.
22 and 40. Boom. Look at us go. Wow. Are we becoming Isager geniuses? Because the other day someone came in and held something up and I was like, it's number 54. And I'm colorblind and I was right. It was amazing. So that's happening. That's underway. Still in love. The only reason I've stopped working on it and that it's not already finished is because I ran out of mohair that I have ordered and I am waiting for. So once that arrives, I will be back on board with that, which means I went back to working on some design samples and also a sample of something for the shop. I wanted to test out some yarn. I must admit I was pretty sold on stocking this yarn, and then I had some questions about it, and so I thought to myself, I'm just gonna get the color that I need for the sample I have to make for my design release, and I'm going to start knitting with it. Well, everyone, I have good news, bad news, and no news. The good news is we're going to be carrying another yarn. The bad news is how much we're all going to buy of it. And the no news is that it'll probably be arriving soon. Breaking news. So this is Albertine by our good friends at Durerum Natura. It is a fingering weight, a 4-ply, 90% French merino, and 10% silk. And it is unspeakable.
Can I feel?
Yeah. I think we're about to have a problem. Yeah, it's not even blocked.
It's so neat, like, looks really neat, and like the stitch definition is good.
It's everything we've been waiting for. It's finally a perfect 4-ply.
It's good news for my plans.
Yeah, good news for everyone's plans. Now, I am of course going to knit this on the world's tiniest needle because that is my true source of joy. So this is a 2.75 for the rib, and then I'm going to go into a 3.25 for the body and tell y'all how it's going. I am thrilled. The colorway is Belle Étoile. It is beautiful, dark and deep. I'm going to try to cover my face with the ball and the thing at the same time, and we're going to, I can use the sleeve. Hopefully this is covered. Hopefully you're seeing this well. We must look amazing when doing this. And the other thing that I'm working on is a new version of the strip cowl, a strip cowl update. I'm using the same color, essentially. Yeah, I'm using the same color, but this is Appetite from Yarn Floozy, and I am making a new strip cowl, so it's just a tube at the moment. So what I'm going to do with this one is a faded version, but the fade is going to be like a ring inside of it, like a section. So I'm going to knit all in one color, and then I'm going to do a contrasting fade, and then I'm going to go back and knit in another color, and the fade is going to go dark to light back to the same dark. And I'm using these really hideous minis. They're just so beautiful that I gasped when someone held these up and was like, I'm gonna try my best with this. Someone held these up and was like, they're available, do you want them? Yes, I want them. Right? They're gonna go with everything. I was like, I need an accessory to go with this. Problem solved. So that's what's going on with me. One Danish confection done. And now I know for certain what I'm about to say, which is the Isager patterns are really easy to modify because they're so simple. Because literally nothing is happening in this pullover. You knit a little bit of a tube, then you knit 2 flat sections the same size, and then you knit 2 sleeves. And that's it. So one of the things about really simple patterns, and by simple I don't mean simple, because this is something that looks simple that's actually quite complex to make at the end of the day.
Well, I was actually going to disagree and say that it's simple, because there's also no shaping now.
Right.
It's just stockinette, and there's just a few rounds of increases.
But if we needed to jump this up or down, so this is where I would say that it's not as simple, because if we wanted to jump that one up or down sizes, it would be more
like from the sleeves or something, or
yeah, you have to do all sorts of playing, where with this one it was honestly just so easy. And as we all know, I love an easily modifiable thing because nothing fits me anymore, and I just had to embrace this reality. But this worked, and I'm thrilled. And I will say they are certainly not size inclusive, but they do draft a really solid pattern, and I think there's a happy medium to be met and a way to make these very easy to expand. Because the nice part is you don't really ever want to make a neckline bigger. So essentially what we're doing is changing the volume around it. And I think that's pretty straightforward to do. If I do knit this again, I will not knit any of it in the round though. I will break it into 2 pieces and knit the whole thing flat. That's my only regret from knitting this one, honestly. I wish I'd just done it flat from the start.
I can't wait to show you the cardigan they have that has one in my size, and it's totally reasonable and not insane.
It's not the flower and tarja one, right? Because I already found that.
Oh no, it's much more
reasonable.
Reasonable.
Much more reasonable. Okay. So, that is where we're at with our Danish confections. If you're participating in the Danish confection, please comment below with what you're making and where you're at, and we will go back and provide links to people if they want to look at it.
Sorry, also, someone asked how they join in. So if you have completed a Danish confection, you need to send it to our email, which is getflockedknitting@gmail.com with like a picture and a little description, tell us what you used.
And then we'll repost it onto our Instagram.
Yes.
And enter you into the draw for the grand prize of a sweater's worth of Tvinni and silk mohair, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'm even more sold on it now. I wish I could compete. Because I don't know about you, but having a real hard time not knitting everything in Isager at the moment.
And just mohair.
Yeah, I have never been happier to be wrong about something. It turns out we love mohair intensely, and we're not going to let anyone take it away from us. If anything, we're just going to add more next week from Filcolana. Surprise. If you made it this far, you deserve to know that there is yarn from Filcolana on the way, which is another Danish powerhouse of knitting. And I think we picked the best opening palette we've had yet. It's
very exciting. And quite different as well to what Isager has.
Quite different.
So it helps fill some gaps in the colours.
Different bases, different colors, and also just different opportunities. And we probably should, next week, we'll spend some time, especially if it's here, talking to you guys about their amazing pattern range.
Most of which are free. I don't know if everything is free, but most
free.
Of them are
no,
free.
all of it. Yeah, you're right. All of them are free. They're all on the Filcolana website, and we are so happy to help you look through them and order the perfect things for them. And I can't believe this, but I got talked into ordering the sparkle yarn, so all of y'all had better love it.
I'm excited. If you are excited by sparkle yarn, check out Pope Vergara.
Yes, because she's
queen of the sparkle
excited
yarn
about sparkle yarn.
and beads.
Yes, I was not prepared for the beads. I went on a Pope Vergara journey.
She has like a Domestica course, you know, that place where you can, and it's like bees and beads. It's very cool. Or bees or beetles, I can't remember. It pops up in my feed. It must know I've been looking at Pope Vergara.
I honestly almost just bought a random lot of glass beads off of Trade Me the other day because I have been considering making a kind of insane beaded jumper with just random beads all over a white/cream silk mohair jumper, which I think could look really...
Fairy red?
Yeah. I need another fairy bread jumper. I've only got one and I need like 20 of them. Because it turns out I am... The human expression of fairy bread is my color palette, which is amazing. Okay, so we are very excited to see you next week. We hope you have a wonderful week knitting. And apart from that, bye.
Bye.